And ESPN has cut a lot of their NHL coverage. So, being down there, and I know you're not exclusively in the NHL with what you're doing with CBS, but it seems like it's your first love. How is it perceived by the fans, and how is it perceived by the media outlets? Because you have the benefit of being able to look at it from both perspectives. So is it that the media outlets down there don't see it as enough of a money winner, which in many cases it's not, and do the fans see it as the fans are like small and hardcore, or how does it work down there?
I mean, there's definitely I have the benefit of living in a really great hockey city in Boston. I mean, it's about as good here, and like in Minnesota is probably the two best places to be. But as far as that goes, I don't know. On the digital side, I know that there's an audience for hockey, but the ceiling isn't quite as high in terms of readership here. So, I was doing well with my hockey stuff at Fox. It was read consistently, and I would hit my numbers and benchmarks. But the stories wouldn't take off like some of the NBA stories would, and they wouldn't gain that traction. And I think a big reason why is hockey doesn't have the pull in terms of names and pure stardom down here. When you look at the NBA, it's like you got LeBron, you got Steph Curry, Durant, like those names. People will read stories and have interest or watch TV segments just based around those names. And the NHL doesn't really have the same effect here. If you ask a casual hockey fan or somebody who only watch a few games a year down here, like I did this last year, most people that I talked to just didn't even know who Connor McDavid was, and that's insane to me. I know that he's young, and I know that he's only been in the league for a few years, but he's arguably he's probably the second best player in the game right now, if you ask me. And the fact that most casual fans just don't even know who he is or what team he plays for is crazy. It's just insane. It shouldn't be that way.
Is it because they lack the pizzazz, like personality-wise? And pizzazz is such an old word, but LeBron's a personality. Kevin Durant has multiple Twitter accounts. Like Steph. There are guys in the NBA and the NFL who have real outlandish, crazy personalities, and the NHL doesn't seem to have that. Is that part of it?
Yeah, and I think part of it is that they're really not allowed to, or it's not encouraged for them to have those loud personalities, or be more than just like a team guy. Anything that a guy does to kind of build his own brand or his individual interest is looked at a lot of the times as him being selfish, or him being a diva, or trying to command too much spotlight for himself. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be guys should be trying to build up their own brand as much as possible, because that brings attention to them. It brings attention to the game, and it just creates interest. And I've had that stance for a while, and it's just frustrating to see how much because hockey players are interesting. They are interesting, despite what they might come off as in interviews and stuff like that, with all their cliches. But these are like really humorous. A lot of the times, really humorous, really good guys with great personalities, and they're just not allowed to put them on display.
I think that's probably true, because you talk to any of them off camera, they're just regular. They're just regular people. They love to crack jokes. They probably trash talk more than most other sports. And then you put a microphone in front of their face and they say nothing. Here's my gauge for personality and fame these days. Is there an NHL player famous enough and charismatic enough to do an episode of Hot Ones? Do you know that show?
Yes, I do know that show, and my answer would be probably one single person. I bet you can guess who it is.
Alexander Ovechkin.
No, but that would be a pretty good one.
Yeah,
I would say PK Subban.
He'd be fun.
Oh, I was going to say Shea Weber, but yeah.
And not Sidney Crosby. That's interesting.
Yeah. McDavid. Maybe. Like that new EA commercial, like it was like kind of a glimmer of hope. Like maybe we're actually going to let this guy have fun. Like maybe we're going to let him have fun.
But if you put Sidney Crosby on an episode of Hot Wings, I guarantee you he would share all his wings with his teammates.
Yeah. How can I incorporate this into hockey? Yeah.
How do I make this a team game?
He would just keep handing wings to Chris Kunitz and Connor Sherry, even though Kunitz isn't on the Penguins anymore. No, that's my new gauge though, because Kevin Durant went on Hot Ones, and it wasn't weird. It wasn't weird. Like he has a personality. He's funny.
A persona.
And he's on a bad day a top 3 player in the league, right? So, does hockey have that? I guess the answer is
probably not.
Not really.
No, if you look at somebody like Lonzo Ball, who's never played a game in the NBA, he's more famous than every NHL player, I'd say.
Lonzo Ball's dad is...
That is true.
When was the last time a hockey player was on Monday Night Raw?
Yeah.
Right?
Never.
Right.
I'm
now,
trying to think.
What do you think is a bigger brand? CCM down there or Big Baller Brand?
I think it's got to be CCM.
No, okay.
Nobody gives a shit about Big Baller Brand.
Yes, we got one.
Even the balls don't give a shit about Big Baller Brand.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I could really go for some $600 shoes or whatever the hell.
Those shoes will be the lightest shoes ever.
Is
Yeah.
that what they are?
No.
That's what they said today.
They'll also fall apart, probably.
Nope.
No.
No.
They're $400.
They're $400?
And they're the lightest shoes ever.
Man. Yeah. That's scary.